This supplement, NMN, claims it can reverse aging, improve your energy, and boost muscle performance. I've seen what everyone else is saying about it, but I wanted to test it for myself for 30 days. Does this really do what they say it can? But I nearly quit this test at the 2-week mark due to something that nobody else seems to mention. So I'm going to show you what really happened. This little supplement jar contains a powder. It's NMN, which boosts NAD+, which drops as we age. I'm in my 30s, I train 3 to 4 times a week. My biggest issue, I'd say, is post-workout soreness. I'm usually sore for about 2 days after a heavy session. So if NMN helps with that, I'll definitely notice. And if I look younger as a result, all the better. But here's a quick explanation of what NAD+ actually is. So NMN boosts something called NAD+ in your body. Think of it like a battery in your cells that naturally drains as we age. Having low NAD+ means you have less energy and you'll age faster, supposedly. So the idea is that topping this up will give you the benefits. But let me show you what actually happened, or what didn't happen. Day 1, I had obvious excitement about what was gonna happen. I drank it in some water, waited, nothing. To be realistic, I didn't expect anything major to happen on day 1 anyway. By day 5, I was wondering if this stuff was legit. And this stuff isn't cheap either. Everything still felt the same. Energy levels, recovery from exercise, nothing was different. The powder kind of tastes sweet, so I wondered if this was just sugar in a jar, but I kept going. Day 9, pretty much the same story. No magical recovery or anything noticeable. I was seriously tempted to give it up. Sleep, energy, training, all normal. I started to think either people were lying or I got a dud batch. I nearly quit, but I found posts saying that nothing happens until sustained use. So I decided to stick with it. Worst case scenario, I'd just report that it's a supplement that doesn't do anything for me. And this is a bit of a problem. The packaging kind of looks like a pre-workout and the marketing suggests fast results, but nothing really tells you how long realistically it might take to work. I genuinely think that most people quit before it even has a chance to do its thing. So I kept going with it. But this is a big reason why I chose to make a significant change to my whole experiment. 45 days. I had to extend it to 45 days. Why? Because like I mentioned, the first 2 weeks I didn't really notice anything, which I think is why a lot of people give up on this supplement and quit too early. So I kept going with it until finally, in week 3, I started noticing some things changing. Day 15, at the end of my training sessions, I noticed more energy left over. Normally, I'm done after my main lifts, but I found myself adding extra weight and having more time and more willingness to try new things. I sometimes save videos of exercises or ab routines that I see on Instagram that I want to try out next time in the gym. But to be honest, I never actually have the energy to do them. Well, I started noticing that I had more energy and more motivation at the end of my workout when I usually wouldn't, to do those kind of things. So I'd also throw in more finishes at the end of my leg day. I would do things like wall sits or pause reps when I had finished my regular sets. It became like a kind of second wind. I was more willing to do a bit more, push a bit harder, and I didn't feel as fatigued as I usually would. So I was definitely noticing my energy levels were a bit higher. Day 16 to 18, sessions were getting longer. I was adding more sets, and as a result, I noticed I was hungrier too, which does make sense. I was doing more work in the gym, so of course it's going to hit my appetite. I also had noticeably more energy for cardio, which is something I normally avoid. As part of my New Year's resolution, I'm trying to do at least 1 proper cardio session per week, and I think the extra energy from the NMN definitely helped. If working out more is part of your New Year's resolution, one thing that's made a real difference to me is switching to better earbuds. Traditional in-ear earbuds do get uncomfortable during long sessions and feel stuffy when you're sweating. Soundcore have kindly sponsored this video, and their new AeroFit 2 Pro solved that problem. They feel way more comfortable when you're using them. But here's what makes these different. I'm someone who transitions between multiple environments every day: gym, outdoor runs, commuting, and what would normally require 2 pairs of headphones, these do it with just 1. You adjust the ear hook level to easily switch between 2 modes right here. In ANC form, they use semi-in-ear noise cancellation to significantly reduce gym noise when you want to focus. Then when I finish my session and head outside, I can smoothly switch to open ear mode, so I can hear traffic and stay aware of what's going on around me. The best part, you don't have to take them off when you're sweaty at the gym or switch headphones when moving between environments. 1 device, all scenarios. They're also IP55 sweat resistant, comfortable enough that you'll forget you're wearing them. And the sound quality is genuinely impressive. They're normally $179.99, but the launch price is $149.99 until March the 31st. So you can save $30 if you check the link in the description right now. These are definitely staying in my gym bag, and I've added them to my yearly recommended gear list, so check that out too. Back to the NMN results. Now, I think the clearest sign that I'm doing more stuff and that my energy is changing when I'm just hungrier than usual. So by day 19, I could definitely see that this stuff was working. By week 4, the effects were more consistent. I wouldn't say that the energy levels were like creatine when you're lifting heavier weights and your body looks bigger from the water retention, but this was just a lot different. It felt like general energy overall, definitely positive. Other people noticed too, seeing me eating more food, my gym sessions getting longer, and I still had energy in the tank at the end. I was feeling very positive about this supplement at this stage. Weeks 5 and 6, things continued. The powder was definitely having a clear effect. My recovery after training has definitely improved. I would sometimes question whether I'd trained hard enough because normally the soreness after training would be more noticeable, so I could definitely see the changes in my training recovery. The effect and adding more to my training had some effects, but I wouldn't say it was all directly due to the supplement. I noticed things like muscle twitching, which normally comes around when I've trained too hard. Just a little twitch in the biceps or sometimes in my eyelid. But I wouldn't say if this is 100% down to the NMN, but definitely from doing a little too much in the gym. So even though I felt like I could come back to training sooner, there could be a slight risk of overtraining. For instance, I'd normally do 4 sets of a workout, but I literally didn't feel fatigue at the same point. On some sessions, I found myself doing 6 working sets on one machine. But after 45 days, here's my honest verdict of taking this NMN supplement. What worked? The main thing I noticed was the energy. Now, I'm not a regular coffee drinker, but I genuinely felt as though I had a pre-workout or coffee in me on some days when I got started with my training. Of course, it's good to feel more energetic. I know there are a lot of people that would see it as a clear benefit, so I think that that's a good thing. I definitely did feel more energetic on this stuff, but it does come with something to be aware of. The lack of soreness I normally get after heavy sessions at the gym was noticeable. I definitely felt my recovery was improved, but you have to be conscious of overtraining. I won't pretend that I know the full science behind how a supplement like this works and makes you feel the way it does, but it definitely did have an energy effect on me. I liked it. But there is something I'm not sure about, the anti-aging effect. Now, I'm showing you this clip of me opening the box for this very reason. This was more than 45 days ago. Tell me in the comments, do I look younger now than back then? I didn't see anything noticeable on that front. Maybe with longer term use, those effects become more noticeable. The things I noticed were more with my energy levels being different. A little about the timeline expectations. I think if you try NMN, don't expect anything for 3 weeks. When effects do show up, they're not dramatic. No transformation, no looking 10 years younger from just one jar. Just gradual improvements in your energy and recovery. If you're expecting fast results, you might be disappointed. So you might have to look at this as more of a long-term commitment. I think a lot of the people talking about this and some of the people I've asked about this aren't being honest or realistic about the timescale of this supplement. Is it worth the cost? About £30 to £50 a month, £600 a year to take a supplement like this. I'd say try it if you've got your basics sorted. You get good sleep, your nutrition is well balanced, you train consistently, and you want that extra 5 to 10% optimization of what you're doing already. And of course, if you have the budget. But if you don't have those things in order, if you're not sleeping enough, your diet's not in a good way, and you want something to fix those problems for you, your money might be better spent elsewhere. So briefly, looking at the timeline, pretty much nothing happened in weeks 1 and 2. The real effects only started to hit me in weeks 3 to 4. So I definitely think you should give it at least 45 days minimum to see if it does anything for you. Will I continue taking it? I like the energy effect it gives, but I don't think I will continue with it. Why? Even though there's so many supplements that actually do work out there, you can't take them all. I have to be ruthless and stick to a few, and what I take currently works just fine for me. But if you do try it, get a good product and give it time. I will put a link to the supplement I tried in the description and also a link to my recommended supplements page for you to have a look at.